I've had a good week. I'm gonna get right into it.
Love it.
Bro, every time that you and I talk, I've got a
Yes.
different way of like attacking this industry and like, no, this is my path. This is my path. I keep shifting, right?
What is it now?
But
Editing?
finally, bro. Here's the
You're
deal. It's not editing.
an
Finally,
editor.
bro, it links back to, and I'm telling you, bro, I'm gonna hold this because it took me, I know I say this every fucking week, but it took me all of these sessions of like trying something else out, trying something else out. I think everything is important that you do, and everyone's path is different. But
Yeah.
bro, I firmly believe, and I go back to what you said a few sessions ago, which is writing is like so fucking key, dude. And
Uh-huh.
I believe that because here's the thing, bro. Here's what
Yeah.
happened. A
Yeah. Let's
lot of directors, upcoming directors, they hear that they need to write a script. Like that's a tried and true thing. Like if you wanna if you wanna get some good projects going, like you gotta write your own shit because no one's gonna hire just like a no-name director. So you gotta also learn how to write. Everyone knows that. But nobody or very few people take it to the level of like, I think you need to have like 3 bulletproof scripts. And what I mean by bulletproof scripts, these are scripts that you don't get to until you've already written like 6 shitty scripts. And this is, I'm also pretty much just talking about my own experience. So maybe this doesn't work for other people. But what I've found, dude, is I've only been able to get to scripts that I'm really proud of after I've written like 5 or 6 ones that are pretty much crap. Like pretty much I'm not able to salvage these scripts because for whatever reason, and each one's different, but for whatever reason, it was just like my lack of understanding of plot structure and all this extra shit that like actually goes into it that you don't learn until you do enough of them. And so I believe that if you take it to the level of like you shit out these projects that are going to go nowhere and then you start writing really good scripts and then those few scripts that are really good, you get a bunch of readers on them, taking all the notes, really apply the notes in a way that in an intelligent way. And then once you're at that level, bro, you're going to have scripts that are universally like liked, basically, to where you can take these scripts to any mailroom person or high level agent or whatever or producer, and everyone pretty much agrees like, no, this is a good script. Like there are certain scripts, like we said, like The Shining. Any idiot can read that script and be like, yo, this is a banger of a film.
Yeah.
And I feel very strongly that that is what you have to have ready when lightning strikes, because lightning will strike for anyone. As far as like, if you hustle hard enough, your
Yeah.
time will come to where like some shit has to happen that's like out of your control. But this goes for actors and directors or whatever. But like when that time comes, if you want to be a director, you got to have these scripts ready to go that are already polished, that are already like 100%. You're able to bring these scripts to an investor or whatever, and you
Yeah.
get funding for them. And dude, you know what? It doesn't even have to do with bringing to investors. It has to do with bringing to talent, because the way that you get money is by securing talent. And the way that you get talent, if you're a no name, is with a really fucking good script with really juicy roles for actors. And so that's what I feel like is a missing
If you
piece.
can get to them. Yeah.
How do you get to them?
If you can get to
If you
them.
can get to them, yeah. But that's what I'm talking about though. Like if that lightning strikes, because there are so many examples of directors that I see that they might get a short optioned, something might pop off and they get some attention. But dude, that buzz for a director dies down real quick if you're not able to capitalize on it. So you're not able to get this longevity of a career. Maybe you could get like one banger of a film, but if you don't have these projects lined up, like that's the work you should be doing now. So that's
All
the work
right.
I should be doing.
So
Yeah.
how does that differ from what you were thinking before? How is that like a big kind of revelation?
Dude, last time we were talking, I was pitching like such an insane. Here's the thing, I'm going to be releasing a short every day during October. I'm still holding that. But I was considering going real deep down the YouTube rabbit hole of like basically turning into a content creator. And in doing so, I would take my eye off the prize of like what do I really want? I don't really want to be a YouTuber. That's not the end game. The end game for me has always been wide release horror features. So I think it's important for people to recognize what their true end game is and not like be distracted by something else on the way to get there, because that'll just slow you down.
Sure. But does that equate to you writing more features, or why is that kind of, so where are you at with doing the shorts every day in October?
I mean, we're definitely behind. But
Already? It's still a couple months away.
well, that's the thing. So we got time still. But I mean, we're gonna really hit the ground running. Again, like producing partner Ken, when he gets off his show, we're both gonna hit the ground running and really like start cranking out stuff. We'll be able to do
Is
it.
he on a big show? What show is he on?
Yeah, he's like it's I don't know how much is under wraps. So I don't know how much I can reveal here. But it's but yeah, he's basically been doing like the set thing of, you know, multiple hour days, exhausting shoots. But
Being
yeah,
a PA?
what's that?
Being a PA?
More like coordinator level stuff.
Like what level?
Coordinator level.
I'm not too familiar with that. What's that?
It's more along the track of like you know, like UPM, like AD. He's not ADing, but he's like assisting. So in that department, logistical side stuff of set.
For a movie, for a TV show, what?
I don't know how much I can reveal at this time. I don't want to, but it's not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal.
I hate that. I find it so silly that people can't say, "Hey, this is like a TV show." It's as if our 3 viewers are going to care.
All right, bro. It's a show.
Wait,
It's a TV
6
show.
months from now, come on, you can say if
It's a show. It's a
yeah.
show. It's a show.
Oh
I'll give you more offline, bro. But I just don't know, you know.
no, fair enough, fair enough. But I find it so funny because you're obviously you're not the only one. It's been like in which like that's respectable that you respect like people's boundaries and stuff.
Also, I mean, here's the thing too, dude. If it was my project and my thing that I was working on, 100% I would. Like, absolutely.
Totally.
But, like, just because it's someone else, I don't want to speak for someone else, basically. You know what I mean?
No, and you're very polite. I admire that greatly. But for me, it's like give the viewers something fun without like giving away the actual information of that the
Yeah.
doesn't want to reveal to people. Tell us what your buddy, your producing partner is doing. That's kind of fun, you know? Yeah.
All right. It's
Yeah,
a show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Look how fun that is.
Fun. All right. We'd like to hear. We're here for that. We love.
So let's
to
bring
hear
it back. The whole point of this was we're gonna hit the ground running like once he's less busy and stuff, and we can actually crank those out. But all that's to say, dude, we're gonna do that. However, that isn't the end game. And now it's like how I'm working differently is scripting wise, I'm hyper focused on like the 3 projects that I think are really good. And so it's about getting a ton of readers for these projects, implementing all the notes, making sure that like I'm not in my own way of being like, no, it's ready. It's ready. They're not ready. It's like it takes a certain, bro, the amount of patience that it takes to write a script, go through that entire process, get that first solid draft, and then get the amount of revisions you need in order to make it truly polished and like resonate with a wide audience. That's a rough process, bro.
So
But
for
it's
these
essential.
shorts that you're gonna do every day, how many do you have some in the can right now that you can think of? Like,
Yeah,
hey,
I've got like 4 in the can.
congrats.
Yeah. I would say, bro, we're in a pretty good position. For August 10th, we're pretty solid.
It's tough to. I'm trying to write this one that we've been talking about, and it's tough to hone in on an idea that you think, like,
Yes.
oh, I'm gonna actually put the screenplay. You know?
True, bro. But what I would say without, and this isn't me being self-deprecating, but it's the truth. The ones that I have in the can are like my camcorder, like let's just go into some location and just like shoot something out. They're not scripted. They've got masks, you know, simple.
Yeah, it's more general. But that's liberating for me to hear too. That's nice. Yeah.
Wait, so
No,
how's that short coming along?
yeah, thanks for asking. I met with Laura yesterday, actually.
Did you
Yes,
been
yes.
prepped for this pod?
Yeah. We had to get ready,
I'm in, knew I'd
uh,
be asking. Yeah.
knowing this would be around the corner. Um, I mean, we've been trying to meet for 2 weeks and we should be meeting a lot more, but she's gonna star in this short film with me that why not try to turn it into a feature film that we're gonna make. And
Wait, back up 2 steps. You
please,
said you went in with like trying to make this short, and now you're like, why not a feature? So you're thinking about a feature version?
bro, I'm always thinking feature, bro.
Wait, hold up. So this TikTok thing that you pitched
Yeah.
in our last 2 episodes,
Yeah.
you're thinking of turning that into a feature now?
Yeah, because I like the idea of something that's topical right now, social media, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, and kind of a scandal going on behind the scenes.
Are you thinking of shooting the short first as like a proof of concept kind of
Yeah.
feel?
Yeah. Basically, like with anything, you shoot it. If it does well, people want to see more. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bro, that's the fucking thing. And that's truly why the most exciting project I have on deck is like thinking about a fisherman feature.
I know.
Because now that I have the million hits,
Yep.
it's like you can always point to that. So I think it is important to have something that like
Gives you a vote of confidence. It gives you a little excitement to see that like people want to see more. So why not give it to them?
yeah, dude. It's not just you wanting to create this thing, which is important, but having an audience that's already there is another level.
Yeah, it's got its own thing. It's fun. So I think, start off with a short, but maybe I'm just different than other creatives, but I'm already thinking like, why not set it up for the big time?
Yeah. Wait, so are you then starting to work on the feature already? Or are you
No,
like,
no.
let's just knock out the short, then we'll take it to, or are you gonna wait for the audience
I
response?
don't care as much about medium. I don't care as much about medium. I care more about like, hey, let's come up with a great concept. And then, whether it's a short form, long form, will serve the story, make it kind of enticing, great. I mean, I think there's an art to use the pretentious term, to capturing it in any length.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's a beautiful thing to doing a short version of a concept. And like, hey, if you can capture people's attention and sum it up and tease them,
there's something harder about that too, because if you only got like 4 or 5 minutes, making it this effective thing. Yeah.
oh yeah, how do you make it climactic still with that? How do you make people care about those characters
Right.
quickly? And then, like, but I want the richness to be there so that, well, you always want to set it up so that if it's not interesting for a long form, it's like, yeah, easy for me to say. I haven't done it like you have, but uh I'm saying like, it's not worth telling a story about. So for me, it's not as much the short form. And granted, this short film would be like a 15-minute short film. It'd be a bit longer than.
Really. Why would you pre-plan for like something like that? Like you were trying to hit the 15-minute mark as opposed to
Because
5.
I'll tell you, all right. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm open to 5, obviously. And it's up to whatever you want to do, what have you. But talking with my dad about it, my dad, my dad is so creative. He's already been hitting me with like these different ideas that they're pretty like detailed and stuff. So I just think they call for more time.
I want to be a fly on the wall seeing you and your dad just fucking pitching off each other.
So
I will
more just
say,
him.
bro.
It's more just him genuinely writing and sending me stuff because he
Yeah.
genuinely, I don't know how he does it, dude. He's a writing machine.
You know what, bro? There is man, and I'm shifting gears this way too. Again, bringing up Ken, you
Yeah.
know, we
So we can't talk about.
yeah. Ken and I, we've co-written a feature together. One feature, and this was a couple years ago. And I was planning on, solely writing another feature and cranking it out. But I'm like, you know what? We make a good team as far as co-writing, partners go. And I feel the same way about, and I haven't even written, or I haven't read something that you and your dad have co-written. Did you guys co-write
Duke of the Valley.
that was co-written?
Totally.
I love that, bro. That's dope. So that's the thing, bro. Obviously, both of you have strengths that you're bringing to the table, and I think that's the best kind of a co-writing relationship, is when you can clearly like define both of each other's strengths and then bringing it together to make a stronger thing. I know I now fully can define, like, my biggest strength when it comes to writing is visual spectacle within horror. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm able to, on the page, write out these visual sequences that are really horrifying that no one has seen before. And that's really mostly like director brain. And that's kind of what I'm bringing to the table. Ken is like a genius when it comes to plot structure and like weaving stuff together. And so I feel like when you combine both those things, you can come up with something really strong. So that's a direction I'm shifting into, you know, taking the ego of like, yo, I've like written this thing by myself. Who gives a fuck? If the end project is stronger, it's way better to work with someone.
I know writing is annoying. If you can get to a good product, it's like, bring him on. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
That's cool that you guys are identifying that and kind of leaning into those kind of areas. I mean, I'm sure you're great with plot and stuff too, but yeah, it's interesting.
You know what, dude? I've gotten readers on, and this is so eye-opening for me, on The Fisherman. And it was, the feedback was exactly the same from both readers, which was great spectacle. And every scene is like really strong and scary. However, weaving those scenes together in like a seamless way, which I know Ken is like insanely gifted at, that's where it was lacking. So now it's like, okay,
the feature.
This is a feature.
Okay, so in the script, the feature. Got it.
Yeah. So now it's like, I'll go back to the drawing table and like figure that shit out. And like, yeah, I'll fix the issues, but it's like, why even go through that process in the first place? Like, why not just work with someone who's good at that? And then like you knock it out and then it's strong, and then you don't have to go back and revise a shit ton. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, obviously you're young enough where you want to like still be like strongly developing all of your skills.
That's true.
You don't want to, regardless of how much you've accomplished, you don't want to start like defining yourself too much. I'd say it's going to still change so much, you know, until you're for the rest of your life.
That's true. Yeah.
Did we just break up on staticky? Anyway, that's back.
How would you, even though you don't want to define yourself, how would you define? I'm curious about like when it comes to your strengths, because I think, yes, you're always going to be redefining yourself, but I think it's like that Gary V quote where he's like, you gotta, like, who gives a fuck about your weaknesses? I don't know how much you're going to agree with this, but he's like, I agree with him in the sense of like, you got to mine what you're really talented at.
Yeah.
Like,
I know where you're going with this. Someone just brought that up to me recently.
Really? Yeah.
Of like, you got to have your blinders on. Like, if you don't have a framework with like artistic stuff, sometimes you'll just go too aimless.
Right. Because also, bro, why would you want to be, you could be mediocre at a ton of shit, or you can hyper focus in on like, yo, I'm fucking great at this one thing or this few things. Let me like really mine that.
And also it's like, hey, we might love the idea of people that are so multi-talented in the end, but like they started with very specific goals and then they accomplished those and then went on to different stuff.
Yep. That's the thing. Because even actors, bro, no actor wants, and bro, I hated this shit when I was an actor of like, this is your type. Actors hate that shit, right? I'm sure you do too. But if you have a strength or something, like, bro, Kevin Hart, like obviously he was doing just comedy stuff. That's actually a bad example. A good example is
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah, Matthew McConaughey. He was doing
more like rom-coms. Yeah.
Yep. He had, what was it, like
Dazed and Confused, which was technically a comedy for sure.
Yeah.
And
And I
then
didn't know that McConaughey. I only learned about McConaughey through like Wolf of Wall Street. And then I started going back through the catalog.
it's
But
fair.
yeah, he had that streak.
I noticed a lot of like probably not as much like indie movie stars, but like mainstream movie stars. A lot of them come from comic background. Ryan
Right.
Reynolds, a la
Bro,
Ryan
Steve
Reynolds.
Carell is a good example. Because
Well,
I mean,
he's
yes, he does still skew comedy, but like, bro, he was in that movie Foxcatcher, which was not a
yeah,
comedy. He was in
I kind of
and
redefined him as a dramatic actor. Yeah.
yeah, but there's a series that's coming out soon where it's him and fuck, I'm blanking on the other guy. The ginger from About Time.
Carrot Top.
Nah.
It's I think it's Domhnall
Oh,
Gleeson.
Donald Gleason. Yeah, there you go.
Max Machina.
Yes, sir. And so he's playing this like therapist, and Donald Gleason is this guy who's like really freaky who comes in as his like patient or whatever. So
Domhnall's always so annoyingly serious. Like it's crazy. He's obviously a fine actor. Like I liked him in The Revenant, where he got to be a bit more intense and historical.
yeah.
But it's so funny. I'm sure he's so talented, but like he's always so like bland and serious. With
Have you
that
seen
said,
About Time?
yeah, we've been over that on the pod.
Did you hate it? I got to go
No,
back.
no. We were both. I can't believe you forgot, bro. It was a kind of like shocking thing that we agreed on. We both liked it a lot.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, it was kind of. I think it was from the same director that did Love Actually,
Yep.
from Richard Curtis, or writer.
Yes.
Maybe he directed it as well, and Bill Nye in it.
Yeah.
And just kind of a
He's a
charming
legend.
English movie.
But
Yeah,
do you
Bill
think
Nye's the
I wouldn't
actor.
say, yeah, not to interrupt. I wouldn't say Donald's overly serious there though.
Yeah, that was definitely more of a
But that's like the only one. Everything else
role.
he does is very
Yeah, he
stoic.
tends to be very like kind of almost nerdy, like standoffish, kind of like and sort of Irish, and kind of doesn't quite know what's going on.
Nerdy
And
office, yeah.
but that being said, so all right, back to your original question, which is like, how would I define myself in writing? It's one way, and I have kind of a certain idea for that, which I might point out, but acting, it's obvious, dude. It's not that like I wanted to find myself this way, but it's just like the natural tendency of how things have been going so far. At this point in my career, I'm fortunate to I lean towards comic ways to like shine myself.
Yeah.
Play a little goofy. I got that little Netflix spot where I was able to be like a complete comic relief in the show, pretty smart. And just the reaction I got on set, people saying, "Oh my gosh, you're like Kramer from Seinfeld meets Zac Efron," felt so at home, so fun. And I really put like a specific twist on the lines, like what they were, came up with my mom about, how funny it could be potentially. And we did that. And then, like all sorts of stuff, because I think, especially when you're in your first few years of starting out in acting and stuff, I think it's harder to lean into comedy unless you do stand up. So I think if you can kind of lean into that, it's a big strength. And it was for me to like get more comfortable with all my stuff. Writing and comedy were big, but for dramatic stuff, my casting type, obviously, not to go too much into this, but because it's so obvious, but my obvious casting type is like, the cool, whether it's surfer, or like young lawyer, young business type sort of. I tend to play 18 and 20s. That's fine. That was tougher for me to play at first when I was starting out. Like, I feel like I haven't gotten a soap opera, even though my stepmom was in soap operas and stuff, because I probably wasn't able to nail that just like complete heartthrob thing, which might be my real life, frankly, which sounds douchey, but I don't know. So for some people, it's tougher to play stuff that's closer to yourself. But now, since I was in good acting classes, of that is so easy for me to play. And then
you're right, because it's like kind of one note that you're just hitting, and you're like,
well, yeah, you have to be very cool and charming, but like you have to also bring the reality to that too.
right.
And but I think I could do that justice easily now. I do that in a bit of auditions and stuff. And what I get big praise for now. I got to do like that feature film 4 months ago or whatever on the USC campus where I was like a fraternity leader.
Yeah.
I had to kick someone out of the fraternity and everything. And I had basically a showcase piece to show how angry I can get and like really throwing it down and pulling out all the stops, like guilt out someone after a party. And I blew people away on set. I just
When is that coming out?
It's coming out. I forgot about it. And my buddy who's in it with me, Blaine, he's the lead. He's like, oh yeah, they're editing it right now and stuff. So
Is that like an indie or where's it coming out on?
it's an indie. And I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with it. But sounds like we'll be able to watch it. And I was like, oh, did they cut me out? And he's like, well, I don't think so, because then that would mean the verdict for me would be out too. So I was like, oh, fine. I think
glad that they're at least finishing it, bro.
Me too. Thank you. Yeah, because you never know with some of these indies and stuff. Come on for a couple days. And the point is, though, for me, that energy is easier for me to play. Like, really just let all the emotions out and stuff and freak out at someone, that even though it could be shocking to people. And I was really good with ad-libbing and stuff and like just coming up with ways like, oh, why this guy was shitty. And it was just, shooting. So, but I think I'm ready for like a big feature. I mean, I did that Lifetime film 3 months ago where I played like the son of that woman who ends up murdering people. And that was kind of a combination of all of it. Cool, dramatic, emotional, little moments of levity, comedy, being charming. That's why I've been so fortunate that I got to do these Lifetime movies, because in a sense, they feel low stakes.
Yeah.
I know it's not as if the whole industry is looking at these Lifetime movies, but at the same time, you get so many moments where the camera's on you and you learn the scene, you know what the point of it is, and you get experience acting with these people quickly, and you got to figure out, hey, how do I tell this story quickly and capture what they're trying to get across? And it's a lot of time getting to act where the stakes are high. So it's like, dude, you get a bit of everything there. It's really a masterclass. And yeah, so I'm looking at get those damn reps in a big way. I told you, dude, when you're on those sets of Lifetime movies, you look at them, you're like, these things look freaking really realistic. Like what they're shooting, like you never see this in an acting class. So I'm like, I would love to do like a soap opera or something like that.
Dude, a soap opera would be great just in the sense of getting your reps in, because imagine how fucking great of a training ground that would be, to where like you've got, it's just volume, it's high volume. And I would even say, bro, here's the thing. I have never been on a studio set before. And look, I'm really confident stepping in because I talked to a director who's had like one feature under his belt. And he told me that even though he's done a bunch of shorts, he was a little nervous going in, whatever. Sure. But once he got past all the trailers, and all the bullshit surrounding, and he was there next to the camera, it was the exact same fucking thing.
Telling the story.
Always done. Yeah, telling the story, but even more so, bro, like there might be more people on the set, but when it comes down to it, it's like you, camera, sound, actors, you're like doing the same fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like no matter what the scale of the project is, as long as you're able to get those reps in, it's good. It's good.
Trying to bring to life the fucking script.
Yep. You always bring it back to that, which a lot of actors, they don't have that, insight. And that's key. Yeah. What's your strength as a writer? Do you know?
Thanks for asking. With Duke of the Valley, the pilot that I did with my dad, I brought to him this idea. He was like, oh, I think it'd be funny if you wrote about your time working at the used car dealership. And I was like,
can't believe you did that. Why did you do that? Just for money or what?
For money. I was like, hey, car dealership seemed kind of charming randomly at times. Maybe sales experience would be good. And maybe it's better than being at a restaurant. So I went, and our family friend had connections at this one Volvo in Culver City. And I went, and it was like Wolf of Wall Street without the glamorous parts. It was just kind of hectic and crazy, and like people were degenerates, very nice, but degenerates, and it was so confusing. It was just
Confusing
awful.
time.
I did my time. I sold a couple of used cars. And,
That's hilarious, bro. It just
I would do
reminds me of-
what's
what is
that?
that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where he just goes to like sell cars because he's always wanted to. And he's there for like a day.
I'm horrible at it.
Yeah. I mean, you said you sold a couple of cars, which is impressive. But I'm just like, bro, that's like, I feel like it's so not you. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. They were trying to figure out the whole time, like, what is this kid doing here? He's like with a graduate school, and like is he on parole or something? Like it's just, not that I'm better than anything, but
yeah. But
a
it
little
just
bit
wasn't
out of
your
place.
path.
But I would do, it was great character study, and I would do impressions of the characters to them, their face. And they were supporters too. They're like, oh, Duke, you have a gift. You have a gift with these impressions. And which was very flattering.
Impressions of, was it your colleagues or was it the customers?
It was the customers too, but there is this one dude, for instance, named Dennis, who he was from the Middle East. He was so classic. He just got done working at a BMW dealership before that, and he really played it up. Like, he was a luxury car dealer, and he told me one time he would always take me under his wing as if he felt so bad for me. And I was like, thank you, Dennis, thank you. But big guy, and he was always like, Duke, you know what I love to do? I love to go home and cook after this. I'm like, really, Dennis? That's good. Why? But you're a married man. Why doesn't your wife cook for you? You get back at like 9 at night, right? He's like, yes. I go all the way to Valencia after this. And by the time I go and sit in traffic and I get home, and the first thing I do when I get home is I pour myself a tall glass of vodka with bitters in it, and I down it almost instantaneously.
Every night.
Every night. And he's like, by the way, it goes on further. This was the best speech ever. This is like the bread and butter. He goes, I down it almost instantaneously. And at that point, I start cooking the lamb skewers with mint jelly. And I pour myself the second vodka with bitters.
Every fucking night.
Every fucking night. He's like, my wife at that point goes to sleep. I eat the lamb skewers with mint jelly, and I finish the vodka with bitters. And as I sip on my third one, I pass out on our table and couch like the fat fuck that I am. And I almost always spill my third vodka with bitters. Such a funny.
And then rinse and repeat, baby. That's his life.
Then rinse and run it back.
Holy fuck. Dude, what a crazy monologue, bro. Yo, you should
Great monologue.
Seriously, you should use that shit. Like, bro, if that was the beginning of like your next series and you just were there.
We will incorporate that into Duke of the Valley if it goes.
Got to.
Right. Bro. That character's so great. I have so much more material where that came from too.
You've only shot the pilot, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you shoot the whole fucking show? Is it expensive?
It's doable. It'd be annoying, but it's doable. Yeah.
As it always is.
As it always
annoying
is.
But doable.
Annoying but doable. We're not gonna shoot anymore if we don't get people watching it. We're gonna try something. But my dad's not thinking we have like connections at random film festivals. He's thinking we enter the pilot as a short at places.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. It doesn't.
Dude, I will play devil's advocate for your. I think that length is really dope because I fucking love that pilot. But going back to your 15-minute pitch, just to play devil's advocate, I feel like when it comes to horror and like thriller stuff, or even shorts in general, it depends what you're trying to do with it too, right? Like if you only want to go festival circuit, maybe it would be like lauded as this like artistic piece. But if you want to go more commercial, I feel like horror and thriller stuff, people don't really want to watch like a 15-minute thing. I feel like they're more willing to click on something if it's like 5,
I don't know the answer. You just keep trying crap.
Well, bro, also if you shoot like a 15-minute thing, like also do it. You know what I mean? It's better
Oh,
to
you're saying for this new one, a new one that we're writing.
yeah, dude. What do you think I was talking
I
about?
thought you were talking about Duke of the Valley. Sorry.
No, bro, I was saying I love Duke of the Valley. I think you should keep it that length. But the 15-minute thing of the pitch of the horror like
Yeah,
TikTok,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like
I'm so confused. Sorry.
is what it is.
I was like, doesn't make sense, but we're going.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like horror stuff or shorts in general too, the 5-minute mark is usually key.
Oh,
Anyway, that's the stuff that I usually make too, you know?
no, totally. And by the way, maybe it's helpful for me to have a powwow with you about this short film too.
Yeah, I'm down whenever.
Whenever you get time.
We could even do it next pod. That'd be the whole thing. We just break it down for our audience.
Oh my gosh, what an idea.
Because right now, every single podcast is just like reminiscing about our lives in this industry and stuff. But if
Which I
we
think is
actually
good.
I love it, bro. It's the best.
It
But
is.
we could also go practical a few episodes and like actually get into the work of it.
I love it. Spend like 5 minutes catching up and then go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, are you watching anything interesting at the moment? Before we end.
Yeah, I saw Nope.
You mentioned that last time.
I hadn't seen it yet though. I just saw it a couple days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, do tell. Cool. Oh, my other buddy saw Nope. I'm so sorry.
Oh, good. I'm curious to hear what he thinks too. Because here's what I want to say.
He thought I'd like it, maybe, because it's very, very like straightforward. He said
It is very straightforward. Here's the thing, bro. Completely different experience than I expected. I'm like the biggest fan of Get Out and Us. Tonally, those movies are more my vibe. That's what I'd say. I think for the general viewing public, I could see how they could dig it, but just my own personal preference of what I expected out of a Peele film. There's one.
I think it's a little lowbrow for you. Sounds like you're saying it's a little bit of
yeah,
the
bro, not quite.
like
Yeah. What I will say is there's a scene about this like, and I won't really give that much away, but it's like this killer monkey thing or whatever. And it was one of the most horrifying, suspenseful things ever. So the whole movie was worth it because of that scene. But overall, it wasn't really my cup of tea.
Gotcha. Wow, I gotta see it.
How about you? What have you seen?
Haven't seen anything noteworthy, but I finished that book, as I told everyone on Instagram, The Bitcoin Billionaires, the follow-up to The Social Network. Dude, I can't recommend it enough. About, first of all, the Winklevoss brothers after Facebook scandal, as if that wasn't enough in their lives. They go into another round two crazy fiasco that was Bitcoin getting in early. They got in with all these tech people that got in with the Silk Road, which is a fascinating subject. You've heard about the Silk Road, I'm sure.
Yes.
Seeing the ups and downs of that and everything. And they ended up persevering and winning, but so many
seconds
stresses along the way. Can't recommend it enough.
Gotta check it out, bro. I know you're a huge fan of Social Network, so there we go.
Yeah.
I didn't really love Social Network, but that's obvious.
You're gonna have to explain to me why on the next pod.
On the next one. Have a good one.
Talk to you, brother. Peace.
Bye.